it's Paige and welcome back to my channel. If you guys are like recognizing what I'm wearing and like what is happening, this is because I am filming part 11 of my differences videos, because I was starting to film part 10 and like halfway through me talking I was like, girl, you're talking so much, this is gonna have to be cut into 2 videos. And I didn't want to have to cut out any of the content for you guys because I know you guys love these videos as much as I love making them. So anyway, this is my intro for part 11, and I didn't say it in part 10 because when I filmed my intro for part 10, which was like 15 minutes ago, I didn't know that I was gonna still be talking right now. So yes, this is part 11 and let's get straight into it. The next difference that I noticed is just like people walking down the street are just friendlier. This is gonna sound really weird and like, mom, if you're watching this, sorry, I'm not trying to like scare you, but there are 2 times when I was in Australia that I ran for the bus, like just twice that I like did it and people saw me. I ran for the bus more than twice, to be honest, but like normally people see me, I'm like wait, just walk just walking. No, why am I out of breath? I don't know. Okay, I just try to play it cool. But there was 2 times that I was like, I can't even play it cool. Like, I gotta get where I'm going. So I'm jogging really hard. And people, both times that people saw me, they stopped and were like, do you need a ride? Okay, that's not the accent, I'm sorry. They're like, hey mate, like, do you need I can't, okay, I'm not even gonna imitate it. They asked me if I needed a ride, and I was like they looked so freaking sweet and nice, and like, I was like, actually I do. And they were like, get on in. And I did, and like, they were just like so nice, and really they just drove me to the bus stop, but they both offered to take me all the way to where I was going. All the, like, you angel people, like, thank you so much. And they just took me to the bus stop and were so sweet both times. And I bet you, because like I said, I only jogged or like ran for the bus in front of people 2 different times, and I bet you if I would have ran in front of people 3 times, 3 people would have picked me up. 4 times, 4 people would have picked me up. That's just what I'm saying. And in the States, I would have never. First of all, nobody would have stopped for me. They would have laughed. They would have been like, oh, she running. And if they weren't laughing at me, they stopped, they would be trying to like kidnap me or like sell my kidney on the black market. So yeah, that is super cool. People are just friendlier. I love it. Another difference is tips. So in America, you have to like tip people. You need to like tip your waiters. You got to tip the people who do your nails. You got to tip the chauffeur, not the chauffeurs, the people who, what are they called? The valet. You got to tip the valet. In Australia, you don't have to tip anybody because they just like pay their wait staff and people who do jobs like that just more, so you don't have to, which is really, really, really cool. And since I came back to the States, I'm like, why I gotta tip? And like, in America, it's so rude. If you do not tip somebody, like, you are rude. Like, in general, like, everybody will look down on you. The waiters, the staff, your friends who you're with, like, everybody will just be like, that's a no-no. But you don't have to pay a tip at all in Australia. And so, like, what I was hearing is just like the culture there is like the people who work there are just nicer because they're getting paid more. They also have more holidays. Like, they're just like little chippier people. Probably also the weather's better. They have beaches they can go to. So it's just like friendlier staff in general, just like a friendlier culture in all of Australia. Another difference in Australia is that like you guys will always be like, oh, what suburb do you live in? And a lot of times in the States, like, nobody really says what suburb do you live in. We would say like, what part of town do you live in? Or something like that, or like, what districts do you live in? And then you would say like whatever district you live in. But you guys always say like, what's your suburb? And then you guys have all your suburbs, and then they look like suburbs, which is like all these houses that they don't like look super alike, but more like you guys know what a suburb is. Like, it's the suburbs that you guys have in Australia look just like the suburbs in the States. So I don't really think I need to like explain that difference to any Americans or Australians watching this, but that's just a big difference. Like, nobody would ever ask a random American, oh, what suburb are you from? What suburb do you live in? That's like not a question that's ever asked, because a lot of people also don't even live in suburbs. Like, it's not as big of a population here at all that lives in suburbs. That's more like, I think more people live in cities or even the country than like live in a suburb. So the next difference is about like housing is about housing and buildings. So in Australia, like, because it's a newer country, the houses are just newer. Like, I don't really know how else to say that. So I was talking to my host mom, and she was saying like her house is like 20 years old, and that's like ancient. And she was like, this is just such an old house. And I'm like, that's not old. Like, the house I live in or that I grew up in is like, was built in like the 1920s, you know? And that's considered like an old, like more historic home or whatever. But here, like, she wasn't calling her house historic, but she just was saying, like, that's just old. She's like, oh, this thing is just old. And then she just was talking about how, like, a lot of the suburbs, which also makes sense when you guys have more suburbs, because in the States, a lot of the suburbs are, like, newer housing. Like, they're, like, newer houses. So that also makes sense, like, that in general, if you have more suburbs and if you're in a newer country, you wouldn't have as much of, like, older houses. But I guess just, like, the difference is what you guys consider an old house is a different scale in Australia than it is in America. Next difference, this is just something I noticed. Everything in Australia is just so much more expensive than in America for the most part. Like, I've said this before in one video, kind of like about mascara, how mascara that's $8 in the States is $24 here. So even with the conversion rate, like, that doesn't really even out. And that'll just be like with a lot of different things, like perfume is like so expensive, or just like a bunch of things. And like, there's reasons for this, like maybe some of it's imported or like da-da-da, like whatever, but just like, you go to buy something in Australia that you could have gotten for like more than 50% off in the States, and it's like sometimes it's just like so shocking. You're like, oh, and shocking also. I'm saying shocking because in the States, shocking means like, oh, I'm so caught off guard, like I'm in shock. But in Australia, it means like shocking is like a bad thing. Like, oh, that's shocking. He like kicked that girl in the face. That's shocking. But in America, it'd be like, oh, I'm just so surprised. Somebody like bought me a ring for my birthday. Like, I'm in shock. So when I say it's shocking, that's what I'm like, the surprise way. So it's like shocking how expensive stuff is in Australia that I'm so used to buying in the States. The next one is when my parents came to visit me in Australia. We went to Australia and New Zealand, and we like traveled around a bit before I came home. Not just my parents, my brothers came too. You met one of them, Paul. If you don't know, go watch my Americans Try Australian Food video thing. Paul's in it. So when we were there, they wanted to like get like little drinks, like alcohol and stuff. And like, I didn't really drink when I was in Australia, like at all. Like, I just don't really drink in the States either. So I just didn't. But so when my family came, my mom, she always orders the exact same drink, and she was like, yeah. I just know whenever I imitate my mom, let me not do it bad, because she'll watch this and be like, that's not how I talk. But she was like, so let me just be neutral. She's like, can I have a lemon drop? And they were like, what's that? Like, what's a lemon drop? And she was like, you don't know what let me not imitate her like that. She's not gonna like this. She was just like, you don't know what that is? And then they were like, no. So then I guess the bartender like looked it up and made her this lemon drop. And my mom said she could like see him from where she was sitting, because I couldn't, my back was facing. And he was like taking a picture of it, like proud of himself, because he had made this drink that he had never made before. And then like 2 of the waiters came out to check, like, did you like it? And then like the bartender really wants to know, like, they were like double and triple checking because they were so excited about this American drink they had never made before that they like wanted to make sure they got it right. My mom was like, oh, it was delicious. So it just was like so funny. And then like, so anywhere we went, my mom kept trying to order her favorite drink and like wasn't working. They didn't know what it was. They would have to like explain it to them, and same like with like my dad or something. If he like wanted a specific like drink, they would have to explain it. So that's also a difference. Like, if you go to the States or and you're Australian, or if you're American, you go to Australia, like you can't just order like your fave drink. You're probably gonna have to explain it to them, and then they'll take cool pictures of it and like try to make it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you guys leave me comments as always, and let me know, answer any of the questions I have, or if you're like, hey girl, like you got this wrong, let me help you out, like whatever, let me know. And also just make sure you're subscribed, because then you always know when I'm posting. I am so excited for like the new year and all the stuff that's going to be happening. I'm so happy to be home, but Australia has changed me forever, so I will never stop making videos for all of my Australian subscribers and my American subscribers who just want to know, or any of my international subscribers, because some of you guys are from the Philippines and like all sorts of like really, really cool places. So just thank all of you so much. Feel free to leave me in the comments where you're from, actually, because I love reading that. I don't know, guys, I'm just talking too much, so let me go. But I love you guys. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey guys, it's Paige. Welcome back to my channel. I really need to talk to you guys, and this video is really impromptu. Basically,